Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the second grade concept of data analysis, specifically how we can represent data in bar graphs and pictographs, and we'll do it in 5 minutes or less. So you see on the screen we have a string of numbers. We have 9 numbers, and what I want to do is I want to draw 2 different graphs to represent this data. So we're going to start with a bar graph. So I'm just going to draw a line to kind of separate what we're doing. We're going to put a bar graph over here on the left. Now the thing with a bar graph is that we are going to use a bar, and they can either be up and down or it can go side to side. In this case, we're going to do a horizontal or a side to side bar graph. And we're going to use that bar to represent an amount. So what I want to do is I want to make a bar graph for even and odd. And so what I want to do is I just want to see how many of my numbers up here in my data set are even and how many of my numbers are odd, because that's something we learned in second grade. So I'm going to just put a box around any even number. Remember, even numbers are those that can be split into half equally. So 7 is not an even number, but 14 is, because that's a doubles fact, 7 plus 7. 18 is also even, that's a doubles fact, 9 and 9. So is 6. That's 3 and 3. So is 2. That's 1 and 1. 5 is not. 20 is 10 and 10. And then that looks like it's it. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 even numbers, which means the rest of them, the other 4, are odd. So when we're drawing a bar graph, so we need the category. So in this case, I'm going to make mine side to side. And I'm just going to label them like this: even and odd. And so what we do here is across the bottom, we are going to make our scale. So my biggest number is 5. So what I want to do is I'm just going to draw some lines. So that's going to be my 0 line. If I don't have any even or odd numbers, I'm not going to have a bar. There's going to be nothing to represent. But if I have 1, I'll go up there, and I'm just going to draw these lines to let you know how far each bar will go depending on the number. So I've got 3, 4, I've got 5, and I'm just going to go ahead and split this last one up here. I'm going to make this 6 and 7. I know I don't go past 5, but I want my bar not to go up to the top. So now I'm going to draw an even bar. And you see it's going to go up to 5, so I'm just going to kind of put a little line right there so I know how far up to go. And so my even bar is going to go up to my line that says 5 right there. And I'm just going to shade it in. So I'm making a bar graph, and this represents the fact that there are 5 numbers in my data set that are even. And then odd, it's just going to go right there. So I'm going to draw 1, and it's going to go to one line that's smaller than the previous one. So you can see with your eyes really quick that there are more evens than odd, and specifically there's one more even than odd. So that's how we would do this in a bar graph. Now a pictograph can show the same information, but we're just going to use a symbol to represent. And so I'm going to, in this case, I'm going to make my pictograph go vertical. I'm going to make it go up and down. So I'm going to have even, I'm going to have odd. Now the key with a pictograph is you always need to have something that shows what each picture represents. So I'm going to use a circle. And I'm going to say a circle equals 1. And that's going to be my key. So every time I draw a circle, that is going to equal 1. And so that's my key. So even, you see I've got 5 even numbers. I'm just going to draw 5 circles. I'm going to draw them about the same size, about the same distance apart. 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up at the top there, 5. So I know that my even is 5 because I have 5 circles. And each circle represents 1. This key is extremely important. Now I'm going to do the same thing with my odd, but I'm just going to draw 4 circles. And I want to make them about the same size as the other one. Make sure they're spread apart the same amount. 1, 2, 3, and then here's my last one, kind of runs into that key. So I've got 4 odds and I've got 5 even, and I don't have to use a circle. If I wanted to, I could use square or triangle as long as I mark it in my key.